I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Cheap Irish Homes. The first I heard about the show was during the summer last year when the producer Michael Lynch rang me and asked me if I'd be interested in getting involved in a show with Maggie Malloy from Cheap Irish Houses. So we began shooting in January of this year in the freezing cold and rain and dark evenings. You're shooting 4 episodes in a weekend. So I suppose between the end of January and mid-March, we had pretty much all the episodes shot. So it was a big excitement when the ads started coming on TV. That was probably the first major kick I got out of it. And of course the build up to last Tuesday was great in itself. Different people saying they'd seen the ads, people texting, people WhatsApping and everything else. And then of course watching the first episode with my family was a great experience. It was a nice bit of news for everyone to be following and enjoying. I thought I'd give you a sense of what's on our Facebook page, what people are saying, commenting, and of course I'm going to brace myself and have a look at the Twitter hashtag Cheap Irish Homes as well, and give you a sense of what's happening there. And I'd certainly like to address some of the comments as well, because some are positive, some are constructive, and I think it's nice to address some of these and chat about them as well. Really enjoyed it, interesting, and Maggie was a breath of fresh air. Well, I suppose, look, when you think about it, Maggie is the one who brought all this together. I mean, it's Maggie's vision to bring life to these lovely old Irish houses, and these houses are going to be lost to us unless life is brought to them. And it's Maggie's vision to bring would-be house owners who are struggling to get on the property market to some of these lovely old houses. And look, there's no doubt these people who are struggling, you are going to have to make sacrifices and compromises to live in these houses. They might be further away from where you work than you'd like, so you're going to be traveling an extra 15 minutes in the morning, but that's what you're going to have to do. And that's what Maggie's vision is, to put the foot down and stretch people a little bit, and stretch the house a little bit, and try and kind of bring the houses on and bring the people on. So Ireland is full of old houses and cottages that need restoring. If the council were to contact the owners, offer to update them or meet the owner halfway with the cost, it would sort out the housing crisis in Ireland. I mean, that's certainly an option. I think it'd be very hard for the council to turn around and give half the cost, because, I mean, what is the cost? Maybe a grant to restore these houses? No, houses that are deemed to have sufficient character and of some level of heritage, they'd be well worth maintaining. Those grants are available when you have houses that are listed or protected. So I suppose, look, you're looking at some maybe kind of diluted version of that for traditional Irish cottages. Brilliant to see a programme highlighting property that we have all over the country lying empty. Hopefully, with so many learning to work remotely, more houses will be brought back to life, eco-friendly, using what we already have. Again, great to see houses being brought back to life. I mean, it's not there is work in bringing these houses back to life, and there is a big financial commitment. I mean, it's all down to how you phase the work. Are you going to do all the work in year one? Are you going to do all the rooms in year one? Many of these old properties around the country are on great sites. They should be renovated and brought back to life. In fact, I don't see why anyone can get permission for a new house if they have a derelict house that we renovated. This is something that the council are looking at, the various county councils. In the past, if you had a derelict house on a site, you could demolish a derelict house and you were pretty much guaranteed planning permission for a new house on your site. So you're almost buying kind of a guaranteed planning permission. That has changed. Councils are taking a little bit of a different view. They're a bit more interested in old Irish houses, particularly ones that have some level of a historical significance. So that's a positive move by the council, and that is beginning to happen. I enjoyed the programme, however, I think that you should give an estimate of how much renovations in each property would cost. For example, foundation, flooring, insulation, new windowsills would be a bit more informative, and we could see what they actually could be achieved within the budget. This is certainly something we're looking at. I suppose you must accept it's very difficult to come up with figures that stand up to any level of scrutiny, because to actually work out what figures are needed to cover the cost of a renovation, you'd have to go in and do a detailed survey, which would take several hours. You would have to do some uncovering work, so stripping off all the old existing finishes and doing trial holes and all that to get a better sense of the actual works involved. Then you'd have to have your actual costing budget. So always on the view that you're better off saying no figure bigger than a figure you can't stand over. So, will they cover planning permission in the different regions? The planning permission varies throughout the different councils anyway in Ireland, and they all take slightly different views. Now, if you're renovating an old house, planning permission is a lot less onerous as long as the house isn't protected. So if you buy a cottage in Ireland, you can still build a 400 square foot extension onto the back of the house, or 40 square meters, as long as no part of that extension can be seen from the front of the house. Now, planners are usually fairly sympathetic if you want to build a more elaborate extension, either bigger, higher, or one that can be seen from the side of the house. If you want to build onto the side or the front of the house, you will need planning permission. But the planners are generally reasonably sympathetic because they understand that if you're buying one of these old houses, at some stage your family circumstances might change and you might want to expand the house or make it bigger or just change the shape to make it more suitable for kind of modern day living. So money pits, old houses will do your head in. Look, it's fair to say that if you buy a house that's very shook, it could take quite a lot of money to bring it on. Remember, one of those houses, which is the first house in the episode, had external insulation. It had a roof that was in very good condition. It had aerated double glazed windows. So, this house had a lot of major expenditure boxes already ticked, and that these things are things that you're not going to have to change again in your lifetime. So a lot of the money spending after that is fairly discretionary. It's well worth getting a house that's already kind of partially renovated because you're getting all this building work at a very cheap price. These houses cost less than they would actually cost to build. So, and you're getting a site as well. So you're getting a lot of hidden value with these houses. And now on to Twitter comments, which might be as complimentary. These houses that are under 100k are all well and good, but they're in the middle of nowhere, so your travel and transport costs are going to be higher. I just don't see it being worth all the extra hassle. I suppose, look, it's not so much that it's worth all the extra hassle. If you don't have over 100k or 200k or 300k to get all these better houses that are in the city, then your choices are limited. So you're going to have to start looking further afield, like Maggie did. I take the point, but look, we all, different people have different views. They all have to be respected, but some people want to live a bit further away, and some people are prepared to do some of the hard work and make some of the compromises to make it happen, and even just to reduce their mortgage. Definitely an Irish home anyway. Picture of Pope and JFK on the wall. That was an interesting thing actually. Like, a lot of the houses we came to were a little bit like time capsules. So you saw a lot of photographs of the popes. Sometimes you'd even recognise which pope it was because there was a variety of different popes. My pope innings began at Pope John Paul II, and after that I'd know them. But there was some various other popes that none of us knew. We're all trying to guess as we were shooting the houses. And JFK was a huge hit amongst rural Ireland back in the day. Again, not something I'd been hugely privy to, but it was funny seeing all these time capsules in the houses. A great viewing tonight, much more realistic for a lot of people in the current climate. With the current COVID crisis and the impending recession, we might all be taking a different view on house values and house prices. So maybe the timing of the show is quite fortuitous. Finally, a realistic budget being shown on the TV. I suppose, look, these houses are of a certain price. They're not for everyone. But look, if you're willing to roll up the sleeves and make it happen, and you buy into living in the countryside and a fair haul from the nearest city, then maybe they're for you. I like the concept of the show and the presenter, but can we get an update at the end of the show, please? Did the potential buyer put in an offer, or buy the house, or buy a different house, stay put, emigrate? That's certainly something we're considering. There may be a follow-up show towards the end where we have a look at the different participants of the different shows and see how they got on. And I suppose, look, in the current COVID crisis, house buyers aren't doing much anyway. They can't go out and have a look at different houses, or even like auctioneers. A lot of auctioneers are shut at the moment. So there isn't a whole lot of transactions going on at the moment, but it's certainly something for the future. I thought it was a good programme. Nothing wrong with a house that needs work as long as you get it at the right price, especially if it's in a good area and it's worth it in the end. Literally, when you're buying an old house, you're going to be spending 50 grand on a house renovation, unless it's an exceptionally good value like the house with external insulation. I mean, 20-30 grand would have done an awful lot there, and that's using a builder, not even using tradespeople. So you really have to get it at the right price, so that when you add on the construction costs thereafter, which are going to be in the tens of thousands anyway, let's face it, if not more, that you're still under your mortgage limits. So certainly a house survey and getting a builder to do some level of pricing, or a quantity surveyor and an engineer will put you straight on that one. So I hope that was a little bit informative. Don't forget, this is a 6-part series, so there are 5 more to go, in different part of Ireland, and obviously different participants and different houses. So a lot more to talk about. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you're enjoying them, and stay tuned.